Buzz every 2 seconds.
Hey, everybody, it's my friend Seneca Scott joining us. And as a beginning, first of all, I want to say, Seneca, I'm glad Seneca's here. Seneca is associated with Zenny62, is one of our shareholders, has been for some time now. However, what he's about to talk about is not organization program that was initiated by Zenny62 Media. Mr. Scott has his views and opinions, many of which I happen to agree with on a personal level, but I want to make absolutely clear where I'm coming from and his association to us and make that upfront. So Seneca's a friend of mine, and he's gone on a crusade reflecting what's going on in West Oakland. And this is his platform like we do with everybody else. And I am honored to have him back once again. Seneca, how you doing and how are we doing in Oakland? Welcome.
Oakland's not doing well, but I started my vacation today, so I'm going to tap out of the fight for a week or so. But Oakland is sick. Every week we hear about a new restaurant closing. This week it was solely vegan. Another Black-owned restaurant closing due to a variety of reasons. But the main one being that when you don't have rule of law and public safety, people don't want to come downtown and spend money and risk getting the window broke or getting hurt, worst case, killed. And so people are staying away and people are suffering. So many Black-owned businesses are crying out. You hear the same thing over and over. We feel like we're being ignored by the city. We're getting platitudes and lip service. And that's for a reason. The people who we elected just don't care. So I'll say this. I don't want to I'm on vacation, so you saw me tweet. I'm going to keep it light and positive, but I'll say this before I get into that. If you look who voted for our mayor, it's districts 1 and 3. And I'm not going to get into the ranked choice stuff. We all know that there was an enormous amount of voter suppression in the Black community. Anyone who doesn't believe that, I would welcome them to an open debate, so they can explain how 5 times more votes than the margin of victory were disqualified, and how the registrar could run 2 websites at the same time, one saying 3 choices, one saying 5, how we can move from 3 to 5 choices with no disclosure and no investments at all, not a single penny into voter education. So all the signs are there for a disparate impact. We just don't have anyone brave enough to take on the establishment. But anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. The people who voted for our current mayor are from District 1 and 3. What do we know about those districts? Those are the gentrified districts. So the people who came to Oakland, who are renters, who are not from here, who, like myself, I live in District 3. I'm one of them, right? Where do I live? D3, West Oakland. Why? It's close to the city. That's where all the rental units were. And it was safer, and it was close to downtown. It was a really good place to live, as opposed to who had the income to pay market rate wherever I wanted to in the city of Oakland, so I chose to come here. Like many white people, all the anti-police terror project white people live in West Oakland and the lower for a reason. So we have all this density of gentrifiers who virtue signal so hard that they're not gentrifiers, but who do they elect? Shin from Stockton, right? Fife from Detroit. They're not electing people who are foundational Oakland members. They're not electing people who care about Oakland businesses. And now what do you get? A complete divestment from anything that had to do with foundational Oakland needs, anything that had to do with commerce. And then I'll wrap it up. My opening, I like to come out strong. I'll wrap it up by saying this, Zinni. And I want your opinion on this so we can get into a conversation. Every single city that we know of in existence, that we've recorded in history, from Timbuktu to Greece to Rome to Detroit to Cleveland to Oakland, started and exists for one reason and one reason only: commerce. You name a city, I'll tell you the trade it started in, or we can research what trade started it. Cities usually spring up by bodies of fresh water or bodies of water for trade purposes. Cities are places where the only places where immigrants or poor people can have access to the economic mobility to have either generational wealth or even just sustainable income. You can't start a business in the middle of nowhere. You need somewhere where you have diversity of trade. So since we've stopped being nomadic people, and we started separation of labor and concentrating in cities, they've existed for labor and commerce. So that means that an extension of that, city governments exist to do what? Protect commerce, have education to the next generation of workers that can be competitive for commerce. It's not a bad thing or a dirty word to have business and innovation and make money. That's what Black people did in this country. We invented things. That's what we're proud of from our African roots, our mathematics, our inventions, right? So why are we all of a sudden thinking that there's this bottomless well of wealth and that there's free lunches all over the place, and we have a bunch of people in city government who've never run a business, never paid taxes outside of payroll or income, never signed checks on the front, and now all of a sudden they want to tell people who are dependent on our government to protect commerce, it's doing the opposite. They're attacking commerce. And then the institutions that we depend on to protect commerce, where are they right now? So anyway, I'm going to end with that. We have a lot of problems in Oakland. We need brave neighbors to stand up and fight back. And so far, the good news is that we're doing that. Right now, Neighbors Together Oakland has so many smart people. If you follow our email, you're seeing we're drafting policy, we're doing research, we're giving all sorts of things to educate our neighbors with actionable information so they can make better decisions at the polls and when they hold our electeds accountable in real time at city council meetings, et cetera, et cetera.
You said you had a question you wanted me to ask, or so you want to have a discussion. I was looking. I think I missed the question.
Yeah. So basically, do you agree with me that cities exist for commerce and to protect commerce?
Oh, without question, yeah. For the simple, obvious case that people have to earn their living in order to afford food and shelter. So those are basics. So in order to do that, you have to figure out where you're going to go to set up either your business or to join an existing business that needs your services, be they physical power, brain power, or some combination of both. And it's been that way since the dawn of time. So absolutely. But I think also,
there you go.
If I may, though, I think more directed to the conversation of our fantastic city, Oakland, is that it is the job of the mayor in terms of her duties. One of her duties is economic development. It's the charter that the city is the city mayor is that's one of her functions, powers, and duties as the chief elected officer, responsible for the budget, recommending measures to the council, encouraging programs for the physical, economic, social, and cultural development of the city. That's item C.
Well, that's dangerous when you have someone like Chen who's obviously who does not have the knowledge, skills, or ability to hold such a chief executive role, nor does she have the discretion or discernment to staff the right people in the places that do have the knowledge, skills, and ability gap that she possesses, as evident by the mass exodus of talent from the city. You lost Courtney Ruby and a lot of other people who don't want to work here or who refuse to work here because it's obvious that she doesn't know what the heck she's doing.
And then D says, it reads here, actively promote economic development to broaden and strengthen the commercial and employment base of the city. That's legally one of the jobs of the mayor. Now, I will say this since you asked me.
Yeah, but how do you quantify that though, Zinni?
Well, I'll get to that second. I just want to say one thing. I have nothing personally against Shang. What my concern is how she's handled the city and how she has handled people. And I say that because I try to leave out the hope that somebody can get better. So for me, it's not a personal issue, but it is a matter of the fact that we have a city that is in awful shape, and we cannot allow these conditions to go on. And it is a business. It's not, to pull a phrase from The Godfather, it's nothing personal, it's only business, right? You should know Godfather.
You should know.
Right.
Listen.
Right. So
I agree.
So I've known Shang for like almost 9 years. I've said this before, again, she's changed significantly, but why is still primarily a mystery to me. but I know that.
But Zenny, is it just her? Because Nikki Bass has got just as much power at the Rules Committee setting the agenda. You have her cohort that rubber stamps everything she says.
Yeah.
They rubber stamp that budget that combined these departments with no proof of concept. So they're just as much to blame as the legislative body, if you ask me.
No,
they're supposed to be the guardrails in our current system, and they're also grossly negligent in doing their job.
Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately all I'm saying, and I want to shut up so I can hear you more than me, but I couldn't resist the offer to say something. But but it's there are times I've cried about what's happened to my city. When I was coming out of grad school at Berkeley, being hired as intern, that was my dream job, and to be intern for the Oakland for economic development, that was my job coming out. And I learned tax increment financing that same year, 85, thanks to the late Ezra Rapport. There are a number of people, some who died have been mentors of mine, like Richard Winnie, who was our county council, and before that, a Port of Oakland board member. I can go on and on and on. Oakland is, I went to that, you go to City Hall, and you go up the stairs in Oakland, the City Hall has the steps. That came from my design in high school, rather, at Skyline. And he admitted that he stole that from my design.
I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I have, Oakland is in my blood, but it's the kind of Oakland that was willing to fight to get things, willing to fight to get Cirque du Soleil away from San Francisco, willing to build its port. You get the idea. What's going on with us is, in my view, it's like we're just sort of laying down and playing dead before we're dead. That's what it looks like to me. I'll just go ahead.
Well, no, we're fighting back, Zenny. The neighbors are absolutely fighting back and taking personal responsibility individually for our role in making these decisions, electing these people, and holding them accountable. That's why our lawn signs say that we believe in the power of neighbors to create a safe and livable city. There's nothing about government accountability. It's all about our own accountability to work together, because if we're doing that, and we're doing that with a sense of urgency and purpose, then we're absolutely going to make better decisions, and we're going to have leaders who are born from our own activism. And that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing people who are getting their own identity from the neighbors, starting their own organization from our big tent. And that's awesome. That's exactly what we need to do to combat what you see. It sucks that it has to be this way, but why is every single progressive entity work together, use the same language, and completely ignore failed policy, they're just not honest, they're hypocritical. How many people were slamming landlords? You saw people up there slamming property owners, and then we find out that Cat Brooks not only owns an ADU, she's trying to rent it out at $3,500 a month for 800 square feet. That is over 30% above market rate. That's price gouging. And then she has an ad that has the nerve to exclude Black men, the #1 homeless demographic, while anytime she wants to use someone to virtue signal, it's homeless Black men or dead Black men. Nevertheless, it's just disgusting to me, the hypocrisy. This is a big issue with me. I think I need people to know. It's a hypocrisy. It's a lot of hypocrisy in these halls of power in City Hall, and they need to stop it. We have people suffering. We have $100 million minimum is owed to the city of Oakland. Over half of that is owed to small housing providers. That means over $50 million is owed to small housing providers, many of them minorities, and just to small city. We have 12,000 cars stolen already this year, over 12,000 cars. That's 12,000 neighbors who can't get to work. There are derivative effects from this crime. It's not a petty crime when you break a window or when you steal someone's method of transportation, when you're dealing with someone in poverty.
That's a record, right? That's
yes.
Double we had the year before. And
way more, double. Oakland leads the nation in stolen cars.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing about Kat. I consider Kat a friend, even though she attacks me in ways that sometimes make me cry because I've never attacked her. So I hope that one day she her better angels come in and make her the person that I said could be mayor. And I'm not.
I stumped for her. I gave her money and I stumped for her when she was running. And look how she treated me the moment I said I had a difference of opinion on policy matters to lead to better situations for Black people. We used to be able to debate those differences. The first thing she did was try to discredit my character. She went right to the character assassination because she was scared to have a free and open debate because she knew that she couldn't defend the indefensible. Their policies are failing dramatically in real time. I'm sorry, I'm an intellectual. No one wants to debate. People will run for the hills rather than debate me on policy. They'll make up everything under the sun. We have people who put me in their Twitter bio. They spend so much time thinking about me in Oakland. I don't know why. I'm not an elected official. I don't control any budgets.
Right.
Why are they so concerned with what I'm doing every single minute of my waking hours? Because they know I'm there to hold them accountable.
That leads me to a question, because you've done a lot of great videos about the condition of West Oakland. And I want you to tell my viewers who may be not in Oakland what's going on and what you see.
I see parking lots and open lots filled with trash where the situation looks like you're looking at videos from Palestine or Bakhmut, and I'm not exaggerating. You can look at them on my Twitter account, Seneca Speaks 21. We see countless RVs that routinely catch fire, adding to the sordid history of environmental racism in West Oakland, where we have some of the highest rates of asthma amongst our children and adults. I see homeless people everywhere who aren't from here, who are here for drug tourism. I see people now acting like we have zero traffic laws whatsoever. Okay, don't even exist. It's so bad that I find myself running stop signs just because there's no rule of law, because that's how it happens. We're all only human. We keep our own baseline, and as we slide deeper and deeper into despair, the average person will act this way, which is why you need to make sure things are clean. I see massive amounts of illegal dumping. It's bad. But then I see huge $500,000 dump trucks with community ready card spray painted on them, which is Terha's nonprofit, which means it's Carol Fife's nonprofit, where they funnel money and peddle influence with city government. Are they doing budget and unit work right now with the cleanup? And I'm happy to clean it up. But when you see a dump truck perform an encampment sweep and put down those planter boxes filled with cement and rocks so people can't camp there, why is Community Ready Corps doing that when that's the same organization that slammed other people for doing that just 2 years ago, called them all types of evil anti-homeless names, and now you're doing it? Again, hypocrisy. So the moment that their back's against the wall and they know that they're about to go up for election and they need to do something, they try to slowly undercover implement all the policy and ideas people like myself had that they demonize us for, and then they want to do them and then try to get credit for it. It's just, I don't want to curse, but it's disgusting, Zinni. I'm so upset at these people. I am so upset. Like, why are you you're just dishonest? You cannot be this dishonest, this lazy, this unprepared, this incommunicative, this prideful, this sanctimonious, and lead a city when you're obviously failing, blame it on the root cause issues while your own children can't read and don't go to school. That's the root cause you're creating. And then when we go to Berkeley or Emeryville or Alameda, there's this imaginary boundary where all of a sudden the graffiti goes away. These cities have the same racial demographics and the same wealth disparity as Oakland. So don't use any root cause issues with me. It's the city leadership. It's policy. Simple as that. We have people who are not prepared to be in these positions of power, and we need to remove as many of them as we can in this upcoming election cycle in 2024.
You took the words right out of my mouth, my friend. I was going to ask you. We have.
I knew we knew we out here.
Oh no, no, there's no punch here. I'm punchless. I don't. In fact, I feel there's too much of that. But that's another story. All I'm asking is,
no, you're a diplomat. You're a consummate diplomat. But again, if you agree with everything I said, hold on, I'll stop in a minute. But if you agree with everything I said, and I do appreciate your diplomatic status because it's needed. But if you agree with what I said and you have these people being aggressive to a people who are honest people and they're not being honest, someone's got to fight for the people against this corruption.
All I'm asking is we have a pivotal election. And I'm asking how you see it unfolding because we have what? Let's go through it. We have District 3.
1, 3, 5, 7 at large.
Right.
Minimum. That's if we don't have any recalls.
Right. And that's a major event in our political history. So I want
and city attorney.
Thank you. And so I want to hear you talk about just open it.
Oh, we need people running who are neighbors. Neighbors are gonna it's all about mobilizing right now and leading from behind and getting and vetting the proper candidates. I don't want to give too much away because, there's 5D chess, but we are absolutely vetting a lot of tremendously qualified and charismatic candidates.
Are you running?
No, I'm not running. Not this cycle. Here's why, Zinni. First of all, I want to see somebody pull a poll for me, and I don't have 30 grand. Somebody pulls a poll for me, it shows how high I poll, then maybe I'll consider running. But my role right now is so forceful. Hold on. What's up?
You should get Greg McConnell to run a poll.
Man, so you talk to Greg.
Okay.
I don't know if I would trust Greg's poll. Look at the poll he ran during the election that showed Ignacio coming in second. And obviously it was a push poll. Obviously it was false. There's no way. And then a lot of people put good money behind that. A lot of people are upset about that poll right now, looking back on how much money that they spent and how much they trusted him when he obviously was playing both sides against each other. But anyway, I digress. Here's why I'm not running. If I go anywhere around the county right now, they know me. I have countywide appeal. I got my eyes set on much bigger offices, and we're going to win those bigger offices after we show people what real leadership looks like. Leadership is action, not position. We're going to take the actions of leaders to vet the many qualified, beautiful, intelligent neighbors that we have, get them involved in city politics in ways people have never seen, start winning these positions of power with people who are totally qualified, who have run businesses as CEOs, taken these businesses from small startups and sold them and made fortune. People who are from this place, like yourself, who bleed Oakland, who are part of the foundation of Oakland. No matter how long you've been here. I've been here 11 years, 2012, almost 12 years. Right? I'm not a xenophobic person. How long does it take? It's about what do you do when you're here? Not where you're from, but when you're here, what are you here for? Do you know the history of Oakland? Have you taken the time to sit and be steady and look around and absorb your surroundings before you try to lead? Nothing wrong with being new or not being from here. What's that?
I've been in Oakland since April 8th of 1974.
There you go. How old were you when you moved here?
Well, 12 years old. And we moved from Chicago, stayed in San Francisco for just a little bit until we moved over to 35th and Allendale. And I was in Allendale.
West Oakland?
Actually, no, that's Central. 35th and Allendale is off.
Oh, 30, okay.
Yeah. And went to Allendale Elementary. Then I went to Bret Hart Junior High, where I met my two best friends, Bill Boyd and Lars Frickman. Lars died in 2018. So if you go to my Facebook page, you see the gentleman that I'm on BART with. That's Lars, because he's like my brother I never had, he and Bill. We started the first Star Trek club there. And we did all things. So if you ever go to folks to the Oakland Auditorium, Seneca, that's under construction or reconstruction, that was where the first Star Trek convention on the West Coast was ever held, right there. Just a little bit of tidbit of history for you.
Thank you. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like connecting with Bruce Beasley, right down the street. One of the world's most famous postmodern sculptors right here in West Oakland. Like the fact that people like that helped bring stoplights to West Oakland 40, 50, 60 years ago. Imagine, think about it like this. Imagine telling someone who came here from Louisiana or the South, the Black people who would end up becoming America's first Black middle class, who purchased these beautiful homes like the one I'm in right now on West Oakland, these majestic Victorias.
I like the background. I like the pictures back there, man.
Ah, thank you. Hey, my man. So imagine telling them.
That picture is, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But maybe
it's okay.
Finish that thought, because after that, I want to know what that picture is behind you in the black.
Oh, I try to. If you show me the bigger, I don't know. I'll see a crop view, so I don't know what you see. Okay, yeah, you got one of Huey Newton. You got one of Malcolm X. You got Marcus Garvey, Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
Then you got another one of.
There's that big one. That bigger one.
Hutton.
Suits. Yeah. That one. Yeah. Oh, okay. I recognize that one. That's cool, man.
That's one of Bobby Hutton. He was the first to fall.
Yeah.
And then you got a Frederick Douglass, and then you have a quote from Frederick Douglass. You probably can't see it. Let me see. Hold on.
Huh.
To suppress. All right, I'll just read it. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. Frederick Douglass.
Huh. Let me.
Obviously, I'm big on the freedom of speech, especially since we have a government right now that's so that they try to stop people's freedom of speech. We have an alarming pattern of.
I can see your wall. That's cool, man. That is a cool wall.
And back here, you got.
Oh, I just gave you a
my man Fred.
Yeah.
No, all right, let me get it back on me.
You good? Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
What I did was I gave you a solo layout so that people get a wide angle view of what you were showing us, because that's a cool wall, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you, Zenny. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, so what do we do policy-wise to straighten things out? What's going on? Also, I'm
gonna keep it real quick because we don't have much time. I got to get back to the North Face store because I bought a coat that was too small. I'm gonna run through the most important things that we need to do policy-wise. I'm going on a vacation in a cold place, so I need a coat. The first thing that we need to do is have a charter amendment for a traditional strong mayor. That means our mayor needs line item veto over the budget and legislative veto. We need to either get rid of an at-large or add an at-large. I don't care which one. I would rather add an at-large if we had good people that have more representation across the city and more floaters, so to speak. I wouldn't mind getting rid of it either. What that does is create an odd number voting block, not this even number. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Another issue is we don't have a controller. I mean, we don't even have an auditor now because, Ruby left. But we need a controller that can say no. No, we're not spending money on this. So when the opium field policy from our current performative altruist progressive government passes policy we can afford that's going to get Oakland in financial trouble, the controller can say no, like they do in San Francisco. Another thing we need is another minimum police staffing for 900 officers. 900. Now, I would even take 850 because here's one thing we just did. I'm going to take a quick caveat. Neighbors Together Oakland just put out a study that one of our neighbors did that showed even when we had 600 officers in Oakland, way less than we have today, but those officers actually performed police stops like we don't do today. It was a much safer city. Now, that comes with a lot of emotion because we both Black men. To me, before I moved to Oakland, like in Los Angeles, nothing's scarier than getting pulled over by the police, by LAPD. We don't get pulled over in Oakland, so I ain't worried about OPD. But we all know that one of the most dangerous things for Black people, especially Black men, could be a police stop. We also know one of the most dangerous things for us, for LEOs, can be a police stop if you look at fatality, which is one of the reasons why there's this heightened tension. So I'm not saying that you need to go back to the old ways. What I'm saying is there's data there that shows people need to have some healthy fear of repercussion for not driving and following the law, not having their vehicles up to par. And I don't mean punishing poor people because they can't upgrade their stuff on time. Poor people should actually have breaks. All the money we waste in the city, how not get poor people breaks on vehicle registration? Things like that to actually help people and not this revolving door to pay these nonprofit absorbent salaries to fix problems that keep somehow magically getting worse, right? So anyway, back to the policy discussion. Another thing we need to do is to follow our encampment management policy. San Francisco just said, we're going to arrest you now if you don't leave. You're not just going to sit there and do drugs. We're going to arrest you. There's laws in the book, can't do it. We're going to enforce the laws in the book. We don't care what the Supreme Court decision may say because it's up for interpretation. As you see, even the governor, Gavin Newsom, challenging that right now. We have activist judges with an enormous amount of power who are able to play essentially God with no data, who just because they feel like it. And that's not right. And what it's leading to is an enormous amount of misery and death on the streets of Oakland and San Francisco. We had 18 deaths in one day of fentanyl overdoses in San Francisco. And I think the record for Oakland may have been 5 or 6. These are people dead in one day from fentanyl that is coming over the border like mad. And then it's like a couple $dollars a hit. You've never had drugs that cheap before. This is insane. So it seems to me that there's a managed decline. It can't be an accident when so many people can say these policies aren't working. Why aren't we doing these very simple things? And the people who don't want to do it, instead of defending their failed policy, gaslight you, lie, and go after reputation destruction for anyone who dissents. What do? Try to say this person said this or that. Anything unrelated. It's the most anti-intellectual stuff. This is why our cities the way it looks. We have people there who are not intellectuals. They don't understand policy. They're activists. They think that there's free lunches all around the city of Oakland, laying on park benches to grab. They don't respect working people. They don't respect commerce. They don't respect what it takes to make a city. They don't even understand what a bond is from looking at our mayor trying to explain it on that unfortunate interview that she stumbled her way through, even though you gave her a primer on all sorts of stuff that she couldn't remember because she didn't even understand you, Zeddy. She didn't understand you when you were in that Zoom call with her talking about you gotta remember, I forget the acronym, but the
Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District legislation.
You know why? If I was being honest, I would tell you, no, you know what? I'm bringing Zinni to the city of Oakland. If I got elected mayor, he understands that stuff. I know how to delegate. I'm not going to pretend to understand something and then fumble my way through it and look ignorant. But I do know how a bond works, which our mayor doesn't seem to understand something as basic as that. You know why? Because she's never signed a check on the front in her life. She's never paid taxes to a government in her life.
Oh, hey,
she's never had a real job.
Do you have a comment regarding the effort to recall Pamela Price, which seems like it's hitting some weird bumps? I'm reserving comment on Pam Price. Here's the thing. I think she's going to get recalled. I think that's unfortunate for Black people. Yes.
Very unfortunate for Black people. I think that Ching, I would love to see her recalled. She was dishonest. There's pending public ethics charges. She didn't even file on time. She used city time to campaign. There's an enormous amount of corruption. She lied to people. She misrepresented herself. She's grossly negligent in her job duties by missing that grant and all of these things that are going on. That's recall material. When it comes to DA Price, she told us exactly what she was going to do, and that's why I didn't vote for her. That's why I voted for Jimmy, and then I voted for Terry, because I didn't like what she was talking about. I didn't want her to be the DA, because I was worried about exactly what's going on right now, right? However, she told us.
And if I'm wrong, I believe the investigation that was launched by how Shang treated Leanna Powell is still ongoing. That wasn't closed. Am I right?
Which one?
Leanna Powell, who brought.
Yeah. Oh, all of those are ongoing. But then that's why our mayor defunded the public ethics department and her budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can investigate. Yeah, exactly. So they can investigate her. It's coming up on a year. It's been a year. It's been a year, Zinni. Where's the conclusion of these investigations?
Shouldn't that be against
They
the
think
law?
we're just yes against the law. Where's the FBI? Because what? Who's the number one law enforcement administrator in the state?
The governor.
What's his name? And then after that, then who?
Oh, Rob Bonta, of course.
Right. And who's his wife?
Mia.
And who made a deal with Shin because he wanted to run for Mia's spot that she would stand down and they would support her for mayor?
Now that I didn't know. That's interesting.
That's the rumor, allegedly. The point is, we know that there are close ties between the Bontas and the mayor's office. So why would she have? It's a lot of corruption here. I'm the only person brave enough to just say it out loud. I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, but where's the investigation? She did not file on time. The city clerk's office timestamped myself at 3:15, with Shing at 3:15, with Greg Hodge at 3:15, with Kevin Jenkins at 3:15. Lied and said the timestamp was malfunctioning when we know that there were two in the office. And when we asked them, why didn't you just use the one that was working? Their official answer is, huh? And then when we got the public records request to get the film footage, that disappeared.
Let me ask
and when we asked them why, I mean, you know what? It's so disgusting across the board how much corruption we have. And then after getting elected under such suspicious circumstances, to have the nerve to conduct yourself with this fake, I mean, it looks like you think you're some kind of tyrant.
A quick question, though.
Right? It's insane.
Seneca, did anyone file a formal complaint with the Attorney General's office? Because
Attorney General's office? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know Rob Bonta personally. Rob would not do that. He would not say, well, she's a friend of mine. If she broke the law, he'd definitely look at it, but you have to investigate it. You can't assume that they're just looking and they're going to say, like for example.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, but I know Marlene Sachs has an open lawsuit about this. It's in court, in the Alameda County Superior Court, about Shin not filing on time.
But did she file a complaint with the Attorney General?
I don't know, but it's in court right now. You got the governor. Bob Bonta has to know there's a court case against the mayor. That. I mean,
you know me. When I say I'm going to file a complaint against the organization, I file a complaint. I get my results.
Well, why haven't you filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office, Senny? Go file it.
Because it's not in my radar to do it right now. I did it.
All right, I'm making a note to self right here. All right.
Right. Because
what's the statute of limitations on that?
Well, there's none. She's not out of office. She's in office. Right.
Anyway, I don't really want to talk about our mayor. I would hope that in the first 9 months she actually cared enough to do her job correctly. But again, we have gross negligence when you can't apply for a grant that everyone else got, including DA Price got $2 million. But let me finish back on that. I want to say a few things about there's a lot of nuance here. So I'm going to go down the line. Pam Price is probably going to be recalled. I see that happening. They got a lot of signatures week one. People are upset. People are not happy. They don't feel safe. She didn't handle it right. She told people, I feel perfectly safe by being flanked by 6 bodyguards. She says she lives in East Oakland, but people think she lives in Berkeley. Who knows? Point is, she didn't handle it right. You can't have that kind of attitude where people say they don't feel safe. You've got to show empathy toward people. Also, the recent to acknowledge that.
I agree. I not that I disagree with what you said, but and I wrote about this, my personal issue, and it is a personal issue with Pam Price is, she attacks me out of the blue, and I have never went after her about anything. And there's this kind of black on black.
Why are you attacking people? You're in power. You don't need to attack anyone. A strong person has no enemies. You don't need to do that.
That's what I'm getting at, though. In Oakland, there are too many black folks attacking other black folks, like, for example, the whole NAACP thing. And
she started that.
Wow. That's awful
that
stuff.
Came from Price. But anyway, let me finish. Probably going to be recalled. And there's probably the reason for that are her attitude more than her policy, to be honest with you. However, it is a big deal when we find out just this week that the individual who ran over and killed those 2 elderly black couple was someone she released who had 7 violent charges. A person should have never been released. Let me move on. She got 6 years. People are scared about that. That doesn't work in her favor. The next thing, my gun charges are over. I'm free. I beat them. So, great. My lawyer did a good job. You know, my lawyer told me when hey, what do you think about Pam Price? Who said I didn't support her. I voted for Jimmy, then Terry. I actually sued Pam Price personally years ago and won. That being said, I'm happy she won because the people that she's firing actually did real harm in the Black community. I can tell you that from being a criminal defense attorney, largely trying to keep Black men just like yourself out of jail.
Yep.
People would have gladly put you in jail for what you did, for defending yourself and added and lied and did it unscrupulously or dishonestly. And she's getting rid of people who did that. This is his words, not mine. I'm not saying they're true. I'm just telling you what he's told me.
Mm-hmm.
And that many other Black defense attorneys in our area feel the same way. And that they would defend DA Price in this recall and let the people know that the work that she's doing is criminal justice reform from the people who are tasked with keeping Black people out of jail. Again, people who have trumped up charges, who did things that were dirty. That's why she fired them. And that comes from my own lawyer who got me off my own gun charges. Right? When they tried to...
That should be known, because I remember when I got a DUI way back in 2006, and they never took off the rolls after I went through you go through the school and all that, right? And here's the catch. I wasn't over the limit. And my attorney was Bill Dubois, and who's a friend of mine to this day, who's known for the Hans Rieser case. He had the officer come back to the court twice, okay? The officer never showed up. And then there was a study that was put out that found that the California Highway Patrol in 2006 was specifically going after and targeting Black and Hispanic males.
To get them caught up in the system. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's 1,000,001 stories like that, right? So what he's saying...
The clerks sit there and they never delete your name from the system as they're supposed to. And that ought to be something Gavin straightens out before he leaves office, because that happens to us.
That's bad news. That's bad. So anyway, I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to put that out there. I am neutral on the recall. I am not defending Price, nor am I for the recall. I am not signing it. If it gets to a vote, and that vote was today, I will vote yes. Hopefully she changes that before the vote comes out. But right now, she ain't it. The problem is, I would probably vote yes. Let me say that. I would probably vote yes. But she's Black, so I will have to play on it long and hard. But I'm not happy right now. I think that these progressives are in dangerous water. They need to start communicating more honestly with the people for us to trust them.
I do want to get something on the record, although you and I have talked about it personally many times, and I asked you about this a long time ago. You're not anti-LGBTQ, are you?
No, of course not. These people are crazy liars. All they want to do is make stuff up. Look, they'll do anything not to talk about the fact that I'm holding these people's feet to the fire. Notice that never comes up. How do I start Oakland Festival, one of the most beloved brands? How do I have all of these warm, fuzzy feelings supporting as an ally? I was interviewed in just 2020 from the crystal dealers. The central question being, how do you create safe spaces for the trans community in your garden? Your garden, as a cis Black male, you're cis males that run a community garden, and it's known as a place of refuge for the trans community. How do you do that? So why is the person who's being sought after for interviews for that all of a sudden being cashed down because I got a personal issue with one guy or some staff? These people are crazy, bro. They're deranged. They don't want to talk about the fact that progressives are failing. And me being an elite former progressive running the labor union in Alameda County, you'll never hear that. Oh yeah, I ran East Bay SCIU. You know how many contracts I negotiated that brought wages and working condition improvements to working class people? Then founded Oakland, beautiful, very respected organization. That's my idea. I saw and staffed every single person there and founded that myself, right? now and left that company in the capable hands of two beautiful people, both of them in the LGBTQIA community. Founded Bottoms Up Community Garden, did all of that work. Everything I've done in my entire life has been of service to the people. And these people have the nerve to try to discredit all of that because they can't have an intellectual argument or debate about their failing policy. It's disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're racist. They let white people use them as renting Negroes for white agendas and nefarious agendas. They fail in the Black community and they can't walk the hood. I'm in the hood every day. Pull up on me and tell me in the hood, right? If I'm all these things that they say, how can I go to East Oakland and shut down random Black? I'm from the West. How do I go to the Deep East and shut down, well, not the Deep East? How do I go to East Oakland in the 80s, shutting down blocks I ain't never been to, bringing in 300-something people there from around the city if I don't have no street cred? You think they just gonna let me? I didn't get no permit. You think they just gonna let me shut the block down? They let me shut the block down because I went down there and spent a straight week talking to every single neighbor, registering voters, talking to them about the issues, taking pictures of the bullet holes that went through their apartment just a few days before I showed up through driving gun battles, talking about what's really going on in the city. That's the kind of organizing that means something. Handing out lawn signs, talking to neighbors. And these people want to discredit all of that. Why? Because they've lost the hearts and minds of the city. They've lost them. And they're not going to get them back. The neighbors have them now. They can cry about it. They can call me whatever names in the book. It's a lie and the truth always comes out. And anyone who took that lie and parroted it, those scandalous, libelous things, not one person called me to ask me what you asked me that's spreading those malicious rumors. Because everyone who called me, not one person. Oh. They all have my number. Shani Turner, you know how many checks I signed for Shani on the front from Ocala? How much money I put in her pocket? She never put no money in my pocket. Shame on you, Shani. Shame on you. You know that's not true. We were friends for a decade. You don't like my policies, so you tried to discredit me by claiming I was anti-LGBTQIA. Shame on you. That is disgusting of you. You know that you're wrong. You absolutely know that you're wrong. But anyway, here's why I don't get defensive. First of all, I don't need to. God got me. Second of all, I don't need to because it's a lie. Third of all, I work PR for a living. Defense ain't the way to go. Look, you just got to ride the storm, let your true character show, and when people actually meet you, they're going to be mad at the people who lied about you. And that's happening every single day. Oakland's a small place, baby. You turn that around like that with real honest work. So these people who want to defend, and then again, I'm not an elected official. Why does elected officials and people who have burner accounts that actually exist to support elected officials so worried about me?
Are you referring
we know the answer.
Are you referring to the mayor's office and the many claims that Brandon Haramy is using taxpayer money to do cyberbullying?
Come on, we already know that. We proved that with the gay inspector account. We absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, proved that it was Brandon Haramy. Play the video also, right now.
But it's also
you want illegal. The video? Play the huh?
But it's also illegal to do that. What he's doing. Yeah,
I know it's illegal. Where's the accountability from the mayor's office? Why did she fire him when we exposed him?
Or why doesn't somebody file charges against them?
Well, I can't file those charges. I filed public ethics charges. I filed public ethics charges that still up for investigation. We gave him all the proof he needed. Why are they sitting on this stuff? What's up, Simon Russell? What's up, Simon? Do your job, bro. What are these excuses? It's been a year. But here's the thing. Eventually, they're going to be held accountable. And hopefully, people go to jail for these illegal acts. Because, like you said, it's illegal. They should be fined and punished to the fullest extent of the law. Anyway, I got to go, Zenny. We rounded up on an hour. You got any final questions? I got a final question for you.
One final question.
And then we can.
Who are you going to back from District 3? Council.
Who's running? Right now, I hear Warren Logan's running. Yeah. And I got a call from Faye Taylor yesterday asking for some help with her campaign. So I will be supporting both of those individuals.
Okay.
And anyone else who runs, I'll probably be supporting them too. But you know what? Good question. I want to point out one thing. Someone said something. I don't want to name drop them because we have a very malicious and vicious and vindictive city council. 5% of her man to beat you up like she did for Vincent. We got a lawsuit about that. These people have shown a willingness to go after people, even physically, who oppose them illegally. To suppress her. It's dangerous. So I won't say who told me this, but a very prominent individual in West Oakland, a black man, who's once Fife gone, like myself, said people didn't vote Fife in, they voted in the net out. So we need someone people want to vote in. I don't want to vote Fife out. I want to vote someone in. I need someone who's courageous and responsive, who inspires us and brings us hope.
Why did Lynette lose then?
Lynette lost because she had, I think that her second term, the amount of personal tragedy she suffered just prevented her from doing her job, and she wasn't honest about it with herself or the people.
She lost.
You're in a very important position. You got to step down and let somebody do it if you can't do the job.
Well, no, her son was at USC. He was murdered.
I didn't want to bring it up in case she's listening and re-victimize her, but she lost a grandchild and a child in the span of months to gun violence. I don't know anyone who can stay through that and leave. So, and then ran for office while going through that grief. It wasn't a smart decision for her. She wasn't the person for it. Carol Fife had an enormous amount of promise. I did everything I could in her early days to give her access and help, and she just didn't care. And a lot of people have the same story in Oakland. We tried, and she just didn't care. She's had her own agenda. She's a narcissist. She doesn't care or respect people's opinion, and she wants to do what she wants to do. Well, now look at it. You failed her. Look at your district. You're not going to get reelected if anybody of quality runs. Hopefully Warren Logan starts to get more vocal. I think he's a smart young man. I like him. I don't know what his policies are. I know he likes bikes. Liking bikes ain't going to fix West Oakland or downtown, you feel me? So you're going to have to come but I know he worked for Jason Overman. Jason's extremely intelligent. He has a consulting firm, very smart guy. Okay, well, Jason's the man. So look, I hope Warren can put together a good campaign to get Fife up out of there. I'm not running.
Real quick, Seneca Thomas, she's running for at-large.
I like her.
Yeah.
Hold on, what's her name? No, Chantal. I don't know Seneca too well. Chantal's running for District 1. Chantal for District 1.
Okay.
You know about her. You got to interview her. Chantal.
Connect
for District 1.
Seneca's been on my show.
Seneca is a sister. I've met her a few times. I'm happy she's running. I can't endorse it until I see her policy.
4 times.
She's been shot 4 times?
She's been the victim of it. She's lost family members, business. Oh, yeah. She's had a place in. You got to. Look,
but that's sad, but victimhood is not a qualification for government or leadership. So while that's sad and unfortunate, I don't care when it comes to supporting her for office. But if Shing's main qualification that she used to sweep in cars and get beat up, I don't care, right? Like, she said that before every speech. I want to know what you accomplished. I forgot to tell you my victimhood status. I didn't even mention once on the thing that I'm deaf. I forget. I don't even think about it. I just think, I want to talk about ideas and solutions and things that I've accomplished.
Seneca, what'd you say?
I didn't mention once on the campaign trail that I'm deaf.
I didn't hear you. What? I'm just kidding.
Exactly. So you know how difficult it is to communicate for a living, how much attention I have to pay to people? Come on, man. Right? So anyway, being a victim is not a leadership quality, but that's unfortunate for Seneca. I think Seneca needs to tighten up that website, and she needs to learn how the government works, and she needs to come back out. At-large is a very important position, and frankly, I just don't know if she's qualified or not, but I think she's very courageous for running. I commend anyone who pushed their hat in the ring. As a person who did that several times, who didn't have a snowball chance in hell of winning or getting money, and still did it. Maybe she'll earn my vote between now and then, but I'm happy she's running.
You two would love each other if you met her.
We know each other. I know her. We've talked a couple times. She came to the garden like 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully she's listening to this and she takes that criticism and going to learn about some policy. Look, it's not a popularity contest or what your bigger things are. You got no policy.
Yeah, you are correct. Well, she has one idea, in fairness to her. where she believes that we should have open use of cameras, not license plate reading, but cameras.
That's great, but you go at large. You got to be vice mayor. You got to be ready to step into the mayor's job if they go down.
You got to talk to her, man. You can't just let her be out there. You got to talk.
Oh no, she got my number. Look. I've given her the first advice. You're gonna need to go raise some money. You want to be at large, you need to go raise 50 grand by that first December check-in, and you ain't winning. At least 30.
That's right.
That's it.
That's
If you ain't got the money, you ain't winning. I can tell you, because I ain't never won nothing. If you ain't got the money, you ain't winning. You want to know what you got to do? Go get the phone, get you some money if you want to win. I'm just saying. So only the candidate can do it if you are not like a establishment candidate. You got to get on that phone yourself and raise that money. It's something I was never able to, as a candidate, successfully do. Right? I wasn't running to win. I was running to have a voice out. I was running to use election to advance my platform because I know that here's the thing, right? I have a lot of ideas. I run on policy and ideas. I don't run on victimhood or warm, fuzzy feelings or hopium. I run on very concrete, specific policy ideas, and I have the knowledge, skills, and ability to implement them. When I personally negotiated, as chief negotiator, the contract for Richmond, Albany, Berkeley, San Leandro, City of Albany, Piedmont, San Ramon, Union City, and I probably missed a few, Union Sanitary District, all the nonprofits, Port of Oakland. And now, if anyone who's ever been a chief negotiator for a contract, you know how complicated and complex that is? I've got to get all the financial information. I've got to be able to interpret it. Not only that, we were negotiating in 2012 doing PEPFAR reform. And I'm sure you know about the Pension Reform Act and how that created, and not only did we were negotiating doing PEPFAR reform, we were negotiating during the first bargaining cycle after the 2008 economic collapse, where people took heavy furloughs and pay cuts. And so we were trying to fight off additional concessions, have CPI index, wage structures to fight against the doom and gloom of the future. We don't know what can happen in the future because people are still very much scared after the Great Recession. We had to negotiate against a two-tier wage structure, do the PEPFAR reform. Bro, I'm doing that at 33 years old. Come on, man. I did all that in 2 years, all those contracts. So I'm qualified for those jobs. That's the thing. That's why people don't ever want to talk about that stuff. I'm qualified. I can look at that legislation and interpret it and then make an educated analysis on how it may likely play out in the real world, right? And then go back and analyze that data and tell you whether it's successful or not or what we can improve on. And I have documented experience doing that. That's what most of these legislators do not have. They are not prepared to actually do the job. So when people ask me to run, I say, I could be mayor. Absolutely. You put me, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do with the mayor of Oakland. I know exactly who I would hire. I would have got rid of Ed Reskin. I would have promoted Joe DeVries to have continuity of government. I would have put LaTonda Simmons in Joe DeVries' spot. I would have had Joe DeVries be interim for 6 months till I got to know LaTonda with the goal of hiring her to run the city because she's the most qualified person to actually run the city because she knows how every department works. And then we would actually go through those departments, restructure I know how the union works, all of that stuff. I know all the issues are in the city of Oakland.
Nothing against my friend Joe DeVries. My other friend LaTonda Simmons should be the city administrator. Sorry, Mr. Johnson. I'm just saying, okay?
Hire LaTonda, Shin. If you had some sense, you would hire that woman and she helped save your butt.
Yep.
LaTonda's brilliant. You talk, LaTonda's just like, I don't know her that well. We had beef for a while with the homeless stuff because she was in charge and I was still in the city. And so we was kind of butting heads. But it was all about her interpretation of, you're not working with us, you're attacking us. It looks like you're trying to make a rep off this situation and you're not really understanding what's really going on. And I'm saying, no, this ain't about you. This is about these elected officials who passed this performative policy, but they didn't have no business passed it because they didn't know how it's going to work. And you know it, and I know it. And then we finally got to talk, and we were like, okay, we're both right. We're both right. So let's work together. That's all it took was some time. But see, the thing is that she's an intellectual, and she was approaching it from a problem-solving lens. Not a let me defend myself from a tax lens, but hey, this person trying to solve a problem. He don't want these homeless camps here. He don't want people dying of fentanyl overdoses or fire burns in their tents or RVs or trailers. He doesn't want the squalor of ruin in his neighborhood of children walking by. Okay, we both don't want that. You should organize around shared objectives, not personality or personal stuff.
Right.
Do we have aligned objectives and goals? If so, we should have an interest-based approach to problem solving. We don't have that right now because we have people who are not being honest intellectually. That's the root of my issue. And they're being hypocrites about that dishonesty on top of that.
Is there a website for Neighbors Together?
Yes, neighborstogetheroakland.org. You can bring it up and put it in the thing. Then I got to go for real this time.
Okay.
It's 4:20, my favorite minute of the day.
I'm blessed to have you, sir.
You didn't get that joke, but it's okay.
Hey, sir, thank you. Everybody, thank you for watching. And
oh no, you got people watching us? They watching us? Who watching us? Who watching? How many people watching?
Had as many as 12 people watching at once, which is pretty good.
Oh, good.
Saturday, right? But
yeah.
But please, folks, like and share this around. Seneca, thank you very much. God bless you for all that you do. And hey, you have to move a muscle. I got this, folks. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube, and please bookmark our newest of our 105 websites, ZennyReport.com. Have you seen ZennyReport.com yet, Seneca? Not yet. Okay.
What's that?
I said, have you seen ZennyReport.com?
Yes, I have. I've seen all your websites.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Our website.
And I read them and comment on them.
I don't own
our website.
The company.
Our website. Let's get this money. Let's get the money. Let's go. Yes.
I'm working. See, I don't have any hair. All right, man. Stick around in the background. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you very soon. All right, cool.